Welcome to Module 4, Potential. Having covered and connected purpose and priorities, we can now move on to the third P in our framework, Potential. Visualizing the future you want by setting useful, motivating goals for yourself, and also covering the potential of people, creating and fostering a community around your career. In our logic flow for the course, we noted that after knowing why you're here and what gets you excited, and knowing and articulating what's important to you and what makes you important to others, we then want to visualize the intended destination. What does landing that next great role look like and feel like? In the Connected Leadership course, we take time to consider your potential across life, what you imagine the achievement of your goals could entail against all your rocks. While I always encourage people to have strong, motivating visualizations of the destination across life, I want to focus now only on hunt-specific goals. For your hunt, we're going to use the same technique though, designed to get you thinking about what you want your hunt to look like. The first thing to do is to pick a date to target. Think through your horizon for your hunt. What does a job hunt horizon look like? For more senior executives, this might be 12 months or more. For more recent grads, this might be more like 3 to 6 months. Please just pick a date that is meaningful for you and your timeline. The idea is to be intentional about the approximately 1 year out horizon and the future you want to create by then. I'm going to take poetic license with a Bill Gates quote here, when he said, "We tend to overestimate what we can get done in a day, but we underestimate what we can get done in a year." What I invite you to do now is to think about and write down what success looks like for your hunt, with a few thoughts to guide you. I suggest targeting what you want to be true about the work, not the outcomes. We need to get wedded to the effort, the hustle, and the process. So what do I suggest that you set targets on? Well, per the outline of the work on this course, how about thinking what you'd want to be true about your inner work? What you've accomplished to create new options for work? How you've created and fostered your network? And ultimately, your hustle for the new work. You'll notice that I'm not pushing you to target when you will have landed that next great role. I'm pushing you to target the work to get there. The very first exercise you did in Module 1 is now more relevant than ever. Think about what is in your spheres of control and influence and concern, and target the actions you can take in all three spheres, but not the outputs, especially those outputs in your sphere of concern. Then, when setting your goals, try thinking about writing them in accordance with PQRST. P is for past tense. Again, borrowing from elite sport performance psychology, try crafting statements in the past tense as if they're already true. Our mind then creates a future picture of that truth, and our job in the present becomes to make that future true. Behaviors that don't feel in line are then noticed, and we can course correct. Q is for quantitative and qualitative. Can you liberate both sides of your brain to create hunt goals with a motivating mixture of both quantitative and qualitative targets? On the quant side, for instance, can I reach out to at least 5 relevant old connections and set up at least 5 new chats each week for the next 2 months? And then write thank yous and follow-up emails for more than 8 and 10 of those. And then how about bringing a qualitative nature to them? Champagne moments that warm your heart. For instance, I will have appreciated and journaled about the serendipitous moments where a great connection for a new job opportunity has come from putting myself out there at an industry conference or even a local running club in the new city where I'm job hunting. R and S is for realistic but also stretchy. You may have heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. This concept has helped organizations tighten up goals for decades, and I want to bundle that SMART concept for you under realistic but stretchy. Think of numbers you can hit but will take some effort. For example, given my industry sector, my seniority, and the roles I'm seeking, was I being too harsh or too easy on myself when I just mentioned 5 rekindled relationships and 5 new chats a week? I was almost certainly too easy on myself for 8 and 10 follow-ups. That should be 100%, as we will cover later on the 4th P in the progress module. And lastly, T is for toastable. Can your goals be truly toastable when they become true? Clearly, the big toast comes when you land that role you really want. But each of these input, process-based, within my sphere of control or influence goals, they should deserve a toast when you've achieved them. Imagine you're sitting with your favorite drink in your hand, with your favorite person next to you, and you have a big smile on your face because these goals have come to pass. If it's not the type of accomplishment you would toast, it might not be stretchy enough. At the same time, if it feels like you'll never be able to toast, it might be too much of a stretch. So you might tinker a bit with making it feasible. Now try and create toastable goals, or 2 or 3, for each of the 4 work areas I've suggested, or similar areas you've selected instead. If you remember, the inner work, create new options for work, the network, and hustle for that new work. I want to close this section with an appeal to write your goals down. And to quote Gretchen Rubin, maybe there's something you'd like to change in your life, to get more of something good or less of something bad. Try this. Figure out a very concrete way to measure and track it by counting the things that count and pushing yourself to find a way to count the things that seem as if they can't be counted. You make sure they're part of your life.